Hi, welcome to this video in which we are going to see a new grammar lesson that corresponds to the book Skillful 4, Listening and Speaking, unit number 2, page number 39. Before we start, if you want to have access to the information provided in this file, click on the link of this Google Doc that is available in the description of this video. So you will be able to see all the information that I'm going to share with you. So let's get started. So today we have expressing casualty. But what is expressing casualty in English? Basically, it means showing a cause and effect relationship in a sentence. Now, the grammar of the sentence depends on the particular words or phrases used to express the casualty. In order to understand much better this, we're going to see some cases, and we're going to start with case number 1, as you can see in the screen. So let's analyze this first one. Here, for example, we have case number 1, and here we have because, so, as, since. The example that we have says, she didn't go to school because she was sick. In this case, the word because joins the first and the second clause. Now let's continue with case number 2. In this situation, in case number 2, we have this consequently and as a result. The main characteristic of this is that before consequently and as a result, we can either have a period or semicolon, as you can see here in the formula. And after these words, we have a clause. Let's take a look at the example. Here says, they went out without wearing a mask. As a result, they got sick. So in this case, if you notice, before the phrase as a result, we have a period, as the formula says, or we can also have a semicolon. And after the phrase comes the second clause, which in this case is they got sick. Let's continue with case number 3. Well, in the case of situation number 3, we have result from, lead to, have an effect on, plus a clause. What is the main characteristic in this case? After each verb, you will see that we have a preposition. In the case of the first one, we have from. In the case of the second verb, we have preposition to. And in the case of this phrase, have an effect, we have the preposition on. Let's see the example. A lot of students' problems have resulted from the lack of interest in learning. So in this case, for example, we are using the first verb plus the preposition. And after it, you can see that we have here the clause, the lack of interest in learning. Now we continue with case number 4. In this case, we have more phrases such as a cause of, the impact of, a consequence of, plus a noun phrase. Let's see the example. The issue is that the impact of the excessive use of technology is very detrimental. In this case, as you can see, after the phrase the impact of, we have a noun phrase. The excessive use of technology is very detrimental. Now, in order to understand much better this grammatical structure, we are going to do some exercises. Actually, we are going to do it together. Okay, so here we have exercises, instructions. Complete the sentences with the correct word or phrase. So this is what we are going to do. First of all, I'm going to read the 3 possible options and the sentence, and then I'm going to give you 20 seconds so you have the chance to think and choose the answer. Once you do it, we are going to analyze it. So let's start with number 1. In this case, we have so, as a result, and since. These are the 3 possible options. And the sentence says, a tornado blew the roof off. We have blank space, comma, The family had to find another place to live. So, as I told you, I'm going to give you 20 seconds and you're going to try to find the correct answer. Go ahead, please. All right, time is up. So, let's see what the correct answer is. So, here we have number one. And in this case, for example, the correct answer is the second option as a result. So it says a tornado blew the roof off the house. As a result, the family had to find another place to live. Okay. Why? Why the second option and not the first or the third? The first one, so, means with the result that. So in this case, does not apply. As a result means for that reason. That's why this phrase is the correct option, the correct answer in this case. In the case of number one, since means because. But after because, I cannot use a comma. And here, as you can see, we have a comma. And before it, we have a period. That's the reason I cannot use since. Now we are going to continue with number two. The same procedure. Read the three possible correct answers and read the sentence very carefully. I'm going to give you 20 seconds. Go ahead, please. Analyze the exercise very carefully. Okay, as you can see, time is up. Now we're going to analyze exercise number two. Let's see, what do we have here? Here, the correct answer is this might have an effect on upcoming appointments. Why not consequently? Consequently means consequence, but it goes at the start of a sentence or after a semicolon. In this case, does not apply, as you can see. What about because? Because answers the question why. If we say this might have because of coming events, does not apply. In this case, the correct option is the third one, the one that says an effect on. Why? Because this means consequence. This might have an effect on upcoming appointments. So there will be a consequence. There's going to be a consequence. That's why I choose the third option. Now we are going to move on to the next example or exercise. In this case, it's number three. 20 seconds. Read it and analyze it, please. All right, time is up. Now we are going to analyze number three. What do we have here? Number three says people are attracted to the coast because the swimming is fantastic. Okay, why not the first one, lead to? Lead to means consequence. In this case, lead to does not apply. In this case, because answers the question why. So here, the question why people are attracted to the coast? Because the swimming is fantastic. Number three, a cause of indicates reason. But when we use a cause of, after it, we need a noun phrase. In this case, we do not have a noun phrase. We have a clause. The swimming is fantastic. We have a subject, verb, and a complement. So does not apply. Now we're going to continue with Number 4, read it very carefully and choose your answer, please. Let me set the timer. Go ahead, please. Okay, time is up. Let's analyze number 4. All right. So here says, scientists think it is unlikely that any species will actually become extinct as a consequence of the oil spill. In this case, the correct answer is the third one. Now, what about number 1? The first one is since, which means because. In this case, it is not the context. What about number 2? Consequently. Consequently means consequence, but it goes at the start of a sentence or after a semicolon. As you can see, in this case, does not apply. The rule does not apply. So the correct answer is as a consequence, which means consequence. And after as a consequence, I need a noun phrase. In this case, my noun phrase is the oil spill. That's why the third option is the correct one. Now we're going to continue with exercise number 5. You have 20 seconds. Go ahead, please. All right, time is up. Let's check the answer. Well, in this case, the correct answer is Betty completed each task perfectly, so she was promoted. Okay, what happens with option number 1? Because. Let's remember that because answers the question why. In this case, the rule does not apply. What about number 2? So means with the result that. This one is applied. It applies, it's according to the context. In the case of the last one says since, it means because. It does not apply. So the correct answer in this case, the correct choice is so, because it means with the result that. Okay, now we're gonna move on to number 6. The same, I'm gonna give you 20 seconds. Read it, analyze the sentence. All right, time is up. So now we're gonna analyze example or exercise number 6. So in this case, I had to get the mop since I spilled my juice. In this case, the correct answer is since. Now, what about number 1? A cause of. A cause of indicates reason, but whenever I use a cause of, it's followed by a noun phrase. In this case, I do not have a noun phrase. I have a clause. I have a subject, I have a verb, and complement. That's why it does not apply. The second, as a result means for that reason. But one of the characteristics of as a result is that it goes at the start of a sentence or it comes after a semicolon. In this case, you can see that we don't have a period, we do not have a semicolon. That's why it does not apply. And in this case, since means because. That's why this is the correct answer, the third one. Okay, now we're going to move on to number 7. The same procedure. You have 20 seconds. Go ahead, please. Analyze it. All right, time is up. Now we're going to analyze number 7. Let's see what we have here. Well, in this case, the first option is a cause of, the second is as a result, and the last one is since. Let's read the sentence. Fred was driving 75 miles per hour in a 35 mile per hour zone. As a result, he got a speeding ticket. All right. The first option, a cause of indicates reason, and one of the characteristics is that after the phrase, we use or we have a noun phrase. In this case, if you notice, after the comma, we have a clause. We have a subject, we have a verb, and we have a complement. That's why it does not apply. What about the second, which is the correct one? As a result means for that reason. And there is one characteristic that it goes at the start of a sentence or after a semicolon. In this case, if you notice, it comes after a period. So it goes at the beginning of a sentence. Then we have a comma, and then we have subject, verb, and complement. Here we have a clause. So in this case, the rule applies. What about the third? The third, since, means because. So in this case, does not apply to the context that we have in exercise number 7. Okay, now we are going to move on to number 8. The same procedure, read it very carefully and choose the appropriate option. You have 20 seconds. All right, time is up. Now we are going to continue with the analysis of number 8. Okay. The first option is the impact of, the second is as a result, and the last one is since. Number 8, he was realizing that the impact of the lie had destroyed their relationship. So the first one is the correct option. The impact means consequence. The second, as a result, it means for that reason. One of the characteristics, it goes at the start of a sentence or after a semicolon. If you notice, in this case, does not apply. And the last option, since, means because. But in this case, it's not the context. Okay, we're going to continue with exercise number 9. The same procedure, you will have 20 seconds. Go ahead, please. Choose the appropriate answer. All right, time is up. Let's analyze number 9. So what do we have here? The first option is an effect on, the second option is so, and the third is a cause of. Number 9 says, Maria didn't follow the recipe correctly, so the cake did not come out as expected. Option number 1, an effect on means consequence. What about number 2? So means with the result that. And here we have, the last one says a cause of, which indicates reason. One characteristic of this is that after a cause of, we need a noun phrase. In this case, we do not have a noun phrase. We actually have a clause because we have the cake, which is the subject, did not come out, which is the verb, as expected would be the complement. So in this case, the correct option is the second one. So means with the result that. Now we are going to continue with number 10. The same procedure, 20 seconds. Read very carefully the sentence and choose the appropriate answer. All right, time is up. Now we are going to analyze number 10. So here we have this exercise. First option is because, the second one is consequently, and the last one since. The sentence says, she had no other options. Consequently, she bought that car. All right. What about the first option? Because. Because answers the question why. In this case, if we read very carefully, number 10 does not apply to the context. What about number 2? Consequently means consequence. One of the characteristics of consequently is that it goes at the start of a sentence or after a semicolon. If we pay attention to number 10, consequently in this case comes after a semicolon. That is one of the reasons is the appropriate answer. What about the third one? Since means because. In this case, if we read very carefully, number 10 does not apply to the context. Finally, we have the last exercise, which is number 11. The same procedure. I'm going to give you 20 seconds. Read it and choose the correct option. All right, time is up. Now we are going to analyze the last exercise. Let's see. My options are the impact of, as a result, an effect on. The sentence says, she was not vaccinated. As a result, she got sick. All right. What about the first one? The impact of means consequence. Can I use this one? Yeah, it could be. What about the second? As a result means for that reason. It goes at the start of a sentence or after a semicolon. In this case, for example, if we pay attention, there is a period before the phrase as a result. That means that here starts a new sentence. So it applies the rule. In the case of the last one, an effect on means consequence. But we got a period. So the period cannot let me use an effect on. I cannot use this phrase. The only one that applies in this case is the second option, as a result. Well, basically, this was the examples in order to know more about this new grammar lesson. Now, I believe that you are ready to work on page 39, grammar, exercise 1. Thank you so much for watching.